Hello.
Hi.
Hi, friends.
Hi. Hey, everybody. How you doing, Drina?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I'm good. Happy International Women's Day.
Oh, yes. Happy International Women's Day. We rule the world.
Yeah. I know our friends watching will see this after the day, but it's still something worth mentioning.
Yes,
We're
definitely.
lucky in our community to have such a diverse, beautiful population of women and people who come together to support this community. And it gives me goosebumps just thinking about all the good things that are in the works here.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Well, we all just we concluded the month of February, which was a big one.
That was
All across
a huge
campus. There was a lot
that
of
was a huge month for us.
Yeah.
It was busy.
Yeah, here in Student Financial Services, we are busy getting students to be aware of the FAFSA and DREAM application deadlines. We have our foundation scholarship application that we were promoting busily, and we got the honor to host our first open house and fun fair here at Clover Hall.
Shout out to Lauren. That was really awesome. You did a great job. Honestly, it was good to have everybody come in and actually be in Clover Hall. I feel like our building is always not recognized as much just because it's a little bit across the street from where like other student services are.
Yeah.
So it was nice to be able to, I thought it was a great idea that it was hosted in our actual building.
Well, thank you. And that was Rachel, our director's idea. And we were so lucky that everyone in the community here in the building and our events teams on campus were all super supportive of it. And we had a really nice turnout, lots of students, lots of people who came in saying, even our colleagues saying that they actually hadn't been in Clover Hall before.
Yes.
So that was I
think it's really important to show students where we're located. Just because we do go, most of you students probably see us. We do go and present to other parts of the campus, but it's nice to welcome you to where our offices are. So if you want to find us, you know where we're located. Yeah. So I thought that was really important.
It is, and we want people to see that there's a lot of really great services over here ready and waiting to help students. And while we continue to be available by Zoom and phone, we've got a whole team here ready to help students as they stop in. And we've said it before, even if you don't know the question to ask, just coming up and saying, I need to know something, but I don't even know. We will help you get there. That's our commitment to our students.
Always. And shout out to all the departments that came and tabled.
Yeah.
So it was awesome. It was really, really, at first, I'm not going to lie, I was like, do we have enough space to have because it was a ton of departments that came through. So the setup was great. It was plenty of space. Even when I thought that I was like, oh, are we going to have it? But great job, Lauren. I thought it was really a great turnout.
Thanks, Drina. Well, I was lucky to be able to do it with everybody here on the team and in the building. And Javier and Sarah, they really just supported us immensely. And we are so excited. We're going to do it again. So everybody out there, if you missed it, come by anytime because we live here in Clover Hall. And then just know that, there's more good times ahead. So, that'll come down the line.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, yeah.
Oh, sorry. So we're totally, it was neat as well because it's like we also had like a workshop around, to be able to help you because February, it is our financial aid awareness month. So we also were able to support with helping you fill out your applications that day as well.
Yeah. And we actually are, even though we're past the March 2nd deadline, which was the priority deadline for the FAFSA and the DREAM application, students can still submit their applications really all year around. Those are called the priority deadline because it helps students to qualify potentially for more or even California state aid. But our services and support, hand-holding through the application process continues all year long. And So actually for the rest of the month of March, we're holding Money Mondays here in Plover Hall, where students drop in and again, get that hand holding, the one-on-one support to do their application. We do that anyway, but we just really want to make sure students know that there's a computer space ready and open,
ready to go. Yeah. Cause we get to use our computer lab, and we have somebody from the team there to support. And it's really great. It's a great time if there's any questions where you may not feel sometimes comfortable asking at our front desk for the Money Mondays. Like, you can be like, hey, can I set you to the side? And then we can be able to talk about deeper questions that students may have. So I think those are also really great. Come visit us. We are here. We're here to support. And I feel like that's always like our biggest reminder to all of our students, that we want to support, we want to help you in any way we possibly can.
And then we mentioned that we were actively promoting our scholarship application, which also that closed on March 2nd. And for all students who applied, just know that we are actively now in the review process. So we've got a good amount of scholarship applications that will be now going under review through a wide variety of trained reviewers. And so once we get through that process, students who've been selected for their awards, they'll be notified all throughout the summer long. So again, if you've completed your scholarship application, first of all, good job.
Yes.
It's something to celebrate for sure. And just hang tight and know that our team will be in touch with you over the summer to tell you more about your selection. And
I think that's so good to know, because even though under student financial services we're under the same umbrella, sometimes our dates can be different between like financial aid and scholarship. So knowing that in the summer it's also like good for not just for the students to know, but also for our peers to know that you'll be hearing in the summer. This is where we always remind, check your student portal and your emails, because that's most likely how they're going to be communicated, right, Lauren?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Yeah. That's what we're going to share it through your email, and then we're available when you have questions and need guidance through any part of the process.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things that we also did in the month of February, obviously going, trying to get all those applications filled out, both scholarships and the FAFSA and the California Dream Act, is that we also go around and do presentations and workshops. So if you go onto our page, I know we do have it on our website, like what workshops we have coming up. I mean, we still have some workshops coming up. They're not as often, but we still have a few left throughout the semester. So if there's any workshop that you think like, oh, let me go check this out, we're still hosting a few.
Yeah, we're ready and waiting to share the information. And actually with that, I'll thank our faculty and clubs who let us come into their classrooms this whole month of February and beyond. Sparing the class time is a really big deal. We understand and recognize how precious class time is. But so many of our community allowed for that space, whether it was 5-10 minutes or an actual hour, where students were able to sit at a computer and get an application started. At least that, I think, is it demonstrates that so much of our community believes in students and the importance of applying themselves, qualifying for as much as possible. So thank you so much to our community.
Thank you for letting us. Thank you for sparing us the time. We know, like Lauren mentioned, we know that sometimes it's hard because everybody's on a timeline. So we really do appreciate it, because I feel like when we're able to go into the classrooms, that's when we're able to get a little bit more of our students' interaction, our students' attention, so they are aware of how important some of these deadlines are.
Yeah. When they see it from faculty, that they can see how important it is, or they hear from their peers how important it is, or what the experience was like for them, it's that much more encouraging. So having the whole community's buy-in makes a huge difference for everyone. So thank you again, everybody. And also so many of you, our colleagues who help students with their scholarship applications. Man, I learned this semester already, I learned how many of our community were actually sitting side by side, helping students brainstorm on their responses on the application. And again, that collaboration, that partnership is more meaningful than otherwise. So
that's so neat, because I'm sure that just the students feel the support and they realize, I think it's important where there's free money to apply for it, because it's nice to think about, like, if I just apply with one application, I might be able to qualify for additional free money that can help for your education.
Yep, totally. Yeah. So before we met today, we also kind of talked about, humbling experiences. Ways in which we're able to stay student focused and remember the student's experience and what it's like. And I just wanted to share that over the holidays, one of my kids got pretty sick and I needed to take her in, and it got really hard because there's lots of medical terminology that I didn't know. There was, I was working with lots of different professionals, getting varying information, and it was complicated. And in addition to the confusion, it was emotional. I didn't know what was going on, and I was worried about my child. But I also recognized in this situation that it's not that different than so many what our students experience when they're applying for financial aid or when they're just merely trying to finish a class. So I continue to hold that experience, closely, because I recognize that so many of our students in our population are struggling in so many different ways. We don't know someone's story. We don't necessarily know what they're going through. And so I'm so grateful to say that my daughter is, doing well, and we got the support that she needs. And so, but through that, I also learned, you got to push. You have to ask, even if you don't know. We said it earlier. If you don't know the question, you got to push.
Yeah, I think, thank you for sharing. I know, it's not always easy, but it's also like a great reminder where when we're feeling overwhelmed and then we're being thrown terminology that we don't know, for us that we work here in the office, it's easy to throw words about financial aid that not many students or many of our peers may understand. So sometimes it's okay to kind of like cut us off and be like, hey, I'm sorry, like, I'm not sure what this means. So I think it's really important, and I'm really glad that you're bringing that up, Lauren, because it's a reminder that even for us to kind of like make us slow down a little bit and remember, like, how could we explain something in a way that it's going to be understood? Because it is overwhelming. I'm sure on top of the emotional and everything, it's overwhelming being thrown terminology that we may not know exactly what it means.
Totally. Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's why I'm grateful to talk about it, too, because it helps me remember and understand, again, just how important it is recognizing that we're all coming from different places. We're all coming with different knowledge. And again, when you're shrouded by something emotional, it means sometimes that you don't understand information the same way, or sometimes it might be better if you have the information in writing. You have, or you're able to take notes. You learn ways in which you'll be able to retain, or you bring a friend. You bring somebody with you who can be that second pair of ears to really help. Get a different perspective, and so I'm really grateful for learning a little bit of humility through that experience. And I, with that, just encourage our students to know that we are right there with you, and our goal is always to make get the student what they need so that they can just keep on going.
We're always here to remind you that we're here to support you. We're here to help in any way we can. And again, if you need to interrupt us, or if there's something that you truly fully don't understand, it's okay to have us repeat the same thing over and over again until you feel like, okay, I understand it now. Because if you ask us, then we can be like, okay, maybe let me word it differently. Or sometimes there can be a point where it's like, oh, maybe I'm not saying it right. Let me go ahead and check with one of my colleagues to see if there's a different way they can put it.
Yep.
Because I think that's important. Sometimes, sometimes you need to hear it from somebody else if they explain it differently. Okay. But it's just a reminder that here in our department, we all work together, and we always want to make sure that we're giving you the correct information, but also not just the correct, but also the information that you're able to understand.
In fact, just earlier, I was working with someone else in our office, one of our colleagues, and he was asking me about a policy, and I was explaining it. And he's like, nope, I need you to say it again. I don't understand. Yeah. So I did. He's like, I still don't understand. Let's talk about it again. And unfortunately, that's just the way financial aid is sometimes. Mm-hmm. So, with that, even we are going through internally, we're going through,
I know. I always say every time I think I learned something, I'm like, they changed the policy. I was like, okay, well, let me relearn that again.
Well, I think that's our time for today. For this round. But yes. Drina, as always, I just appreciate you and respect you immensely.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you, and I always enjoy working with you, and thank you for always taking the time to do this. I think this is great, and I hope it's reaching our students, and it's something that's helpful for our students and our peers.
Absolutely. Thank you. Cheers all.
Bye.
Until next time.